All right, here we go. 4th and 5, back at it again. Another episode sponsored by Ortho Arkansas in our newest partner. Very excited to announce Oaklawn is on board with 4th and 5, specifically when it comes to their sports betting app. And guys, this is the first time all of us have all gotten together. I'm pumped up. Arkansas just did their thing down in Mississippi State. Now we play them boys from Ole Miss. And as you know, as Coach Nutt and Matt Harris would say, it's a two chin strap game, fellas. I'm pumped up, you know what I mean? In honor of being pumped up, let's go back to the days when we used to play back in the day. Oh, I mean, LSU coming to town. Come on now. Everybody used to get lit back in the day. Oh my gosh. Back in it makes you up. Sorry. I just got back from Starkville. Okay, and I'm all pumped up. I'm gassed up, and you know everybody's picking Ole Miss to win this game. But as y'all know, it's just a little bit different when they come to Fayetteville, especially this game. I'm so excited for it. And as we get into the week, don't forget, Breakdown is coming up here in just a second, so stay tuned with that. We got Let Grant Cook coming up on Thursday. We got Matt getting defensive with Matt. That'll be tomorrow. And so we got content all week long, and we have a new edition surprise for y'all come Friday. You have to just stick around and see what's going on there. And so very excited about that. And all of that hype has gave us the opportunity to now have new sponsors. And like I said, we got Oaklawn on board now. So, fellas, let's have some fun. I know a lot of people are into when it comes to betting on sports. And I will say this at the first part. Like, if this isn't for you, we're not trying to pressure you and tell you to do anything. So we're going to go through now each week to start it off to pick our best matchups of the week. And we're going to pick our picks, I guess, based off the spread set by Oaklawn. So as of right now, and we have to give everybody reminders, this is recorded. So right now, it is Sunday at 9 o'clock in the afternoon. These lines always move, so make sure you download the app so you can see what the current line is. But as of now, guys, let's kind of get into this. And we are going to start with the Florida-Georgia game. As you see the spread, they got Florida plus 16.5 with the over-under set at 52.5. And if you're unfamiliar with how all this works, stay tuned with the podcast because later in the week, we'll really kind of break this down. If you are new to this and hopefully have a 4th and 5 promo code to give you some perks when you sign up for the first time, that's in the works. But let's go ahead and start with that first game, Florida and Georgia. Josh, I'll start with you. What do you like?
I got Georgia minus 16.5, and I got the over 52.5.
Okay. No explanation, or you just straight to it?
Look, no, we talked about listen. We
yeah.
Hold on. We talked about this before we went live, boys. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm still trying to figure this out. Look,
yeah, I
just took all I know is I'm taking my paycheck down to Oaklawn, and I'm putting it on the over 52.5.
Okay, so Josh, I'm just curious, fellas. Hold on here. Play with me for a second. Hear me out. So, what has to happen in order for you to win some money on this bet, based off what you just said?
Oh well, I mean, all I know is that we got to make sure that both teams score over 52 points, right?
Okay.
In order for me to win.
That's one part. What about the spread?
And Georgia has to beat them by at least 16 points. Grant Cook just told me that. And a half.
At least 17 points. The half.
There you go, Grant. Coach him up. Coach him up, Grant.
God, I was right there.
He's close.
Hey, hold on. Yeah, Matt says Josh is going to lose a lot of money.
That's why I'm gambling. A lot of people were right there.
It's a game of inches. It's a game of inches, boys.
Oh, man.
I don't care if you win by an inch or a quarter mile. What do they say on Fast and Furious?
It's an inch or a mile. But I'll say this. Okay, so this is going to be fun with Josh. All right, we'll catch up with Josh here in a second. Matt, who you like in this matchup?
Man, based off of points, I'm going to go Florida covers that 16.5 spread. You know, Georgia has only beaten Auburn by 16.5 points this year. They're obviously a fantastic team. They showed out versus Texas, but they only beat Texas by 15 points. So, you know, this is a rivalry game. This is kind of you throw out rankings and statistics, world's largest cocktail party. That Florida-Georgia game is always fun. You know, they were close with Kentucky and Mississippi State. So, hey, for the first week, I'm going to go with them Gators, boy.
Oh, Lord. Grant, what you think? Hold on, Josh. Hold
I'm gonna do
on.
the under just to mess with Josh.
Oh, sorry.
I just didn't like the
under.
way he came across so formal, as if he knows what he's doing. After I did mine. But anyways,
So you like the
Student of the
under in
game.
that one, Matt? Okay, I was just making sure you like the under.
Yeah, I like the under. I'm a student of the game. I think it's gonna be an SEC matchup, man. Just
Okay.
banging those boys in the line.
Then I gotta go. I gotta follow Matt. I gotta take Florida here for really all the same reasons. I also think that Georgia has not looked as dominant this year as they have in the last few years. Right? I don't know if that's transfer portal or NIL helping some of the other teams catch up to the talent level that Georgia's had, Alabama's had in the past. Some of those teams. But also a rivalry game, right? I mean, you think back to Arkansas versus LSU, Arkansas, Texas of old. All of those games are close, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter. We were unranked, went in 07, beat LSU when they were number 1. All those things come into play in a game like this. I think Florida's really better than a lot of people thought they were going to be under Napier. Yeah. So they've got a lot to fight for. It's a big game. Georgia's number 2. So I'm going to go there. I'm also going to go under. I think it's going to be kind of a defensive struggle and a defensive battle on Saturday. So, yeah, we'll see. Florida and the under for that game.
All right, I'm going to take Georgia. Yeah, I think it's interesting to see the landscape of college football right now. And I think Georgia earlier this year, they had a wake-up call of understanding that the SEC is wide open. And getting into this 12-team playoff probably isn't so much of a guarantee as a lot of people thought. And with the way the SEC is shaken up right now, it's going to come down to the opinions of, I guess, the selection committee who gets in those spots. And so they know impressive wins are what they need. And I think what they showed against Texas was a dominant defense and the ability to score at really when you want to. I would say look back at that second half against Alabama after they dug themselves into a hole. Once they kind of turned that switch and was like, okay, we got to actually play football, they scored at will. So I will take them in this more so for the fact that they need that win. I get Florida is in a situation where sometimes people say, hey, we need to fire our coach, fire not. I don't know. I like the neutral site. That's going to bring a certain amount of excitement to the game. And I got to go with the over. Just looking at Florida against Mississippi State this year, putting up 45 points. Against Kentucky, put it up 48. And then, Georgia, when they want to, they can get the job done. So I'll take the over on that one. So I guess we're kind of all over the board. And don't worry, fellas, I'm going to throw up a graphic on the screen to make sure everybody knows exactly what we got going on. So that's game 1. Let's go ahead and get to game number 2. Texas A&M against South Carolina, the new kings of the SEC. Josh, let's start with you.
All right. Well, first of all, let me go ahead and break it down a little bit better for you boys, okay? Because I like South Carolina, but I don't think they can beat Texas A&M. So if I understand this whole betting thing properly, I want to take Texas A&M negative 3.5 points, right? Minus 3.5 points. Is that right? Because I had a hard time with algebra when I was in high school.
Well,
so
it's a good thing this is addition and subtractions.
I've always had my problem carrying my negatives and figuring out if it's supposed to be a minus or a negative. But you know what? I'm going to take Texas A&M minus 3.5, and then I've got the under at 46.5, baby.
Okay, Matt,
how you like it?
That's decent. Let's see what everybody else has to say first.
I'm not going to disagree with you, Josh. I think it's for maybe different reasons, but 3.5. A&M just came off a big win, obviously. But man, I tell you what, we've all been there to South Carolina and Columbia. Tough place to play. Really underrated stadium. But 3.5, they got that quarterback that can scoot. It's the same guy who played with Arkansas, so I don't really know. This is a huge toss-up. They are kind of due, Grant. I don't disagree with you, but just for time's sake and argument's sake, they're rolling right now. This looks like a little bit different A&M of the past. They got some dudes down there with a chip on their shoulder, so I'm going to take A&M 3.5. But I am going to go under. I don't know if they score at will like they did versus LSU, because now everyone's going to get a tape, a week of tape versus that quarterback. Learn to stop that zone read a little bit. I don't know if they're going to put up 50 points. South Carolina's a tough place to play. I still think they squeak out of there with the win. 3.5 is a tight spread. So I'm picking them to win.
All right, Grant.
Yeah. So we had a little conversation before this for the folks at home. That's why Matt said that I think they're due. I do think Texas A&M is due for a loss. I think they're due for a game where things are not clicking for whatever reason. But 3.5 is just not enough points for me to go against Texas A&M. If they were up 7, 8, 9, 10, then I would probably have to take South Carolina in this one. But I think Texas A&M is just kind of figuring out. They had Wegman in last week, half the game. They bring in, help me with the name of the kid that came in.
Marcel Reed.
Reed.
Yep.
Dynamic quarterback. I imagine he gets the start this week because that offense really started gelling when he came in the game.
Yeah.
I'm going to take A&M with a -3.5. I'm also going to take the over. I do think that there is some tape out there. People are going to be seeing what they try to get done on offense, but they still got to stop it. And I don't know if South Carolina's got the cats to get it done. So I'm going A&M -3.5 and the over.
Cool.
All right, here we go. You're right. South Carolina, those Gamecocks, y'all know the pregame routine, that little Gamecocks in that little cage, and the place goes crazy. I think they play Sandstorm. I believe that's what they play there. And the place is nuts. However, it's the kickoff is at noon. All right, it's a little bit different. They haven't had time to get a little loose with that, that holy water.
Sure.
But I like A&M in this, and I just simply say that they just keep getting better every single week. Guys, they're on they've lost week 1 and have not lost since then. They lost to Notre Dame. I think that may have been on the road. I can't remember exactly, but since then, points, man, they put up 52, 33, 26, 41, 34, 38 against a very talented LSU team just last week.
That was wild.
I mean, and they just keep getting better. They kind of got into a situation when their quarterback got hurt, then Wingman came back, and it just seems like things are flowing. And as far as South Carolina is, they are a team that gave LSU some struggle, but they have so many gaps in their team as well. You got to think they had LSU down maybe by 3 scores. LSU came back in the second half once they decided to wake up and play football. And a lot like Georgia, I think A&M understands what lies ahead of them as far as schedule is concerned. I mean, you got Texas as their last game of the year. Then they know they can't afford to lose these games, and it may come down to some tiebreakers, and the impressive wins, I think, will put them over the top. So, I like A&M -3.5 on this, and I will take the over because I think A&M, man, if they want to, they could put up 35 points on their own. And I think South Carolina is good to make up the space on that one. All right, let's keep this thing rolling.
Okay. I do want to tie this back to Arkansas. I think Arkansas played Texas A&M better than anyone's played them this whole year. We had every opportunity to win that game. Turnover battle, once again, we talk about it week in, week out. We lose the turnover battle. We lose the game generally, and that game was won. So this is an Arkansas podcast. I did want to tie it back to them, but when you're rolling through those scores, 24 points, I think is what they scored on us. I think it was, or 21 maybe, 21-17. So, I mean, we shut them down, right? But they've kind of figured it out a little bit. So, anyway.
Once they got that quarterback back from injury, it's been a different ball game. I'll say that. All right, let's get to the next one. Let's get out of conference. A big matchup. Number 2 versus number 3. Nice little showdown. Ohio State, OHIO against Penn State. That game is at Penn State, and it's a noon kickoff. Josh, can't wait for this one. Who you got?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I haven't watched a lot of Ohio State football this year. But it's been a long time since I felt like Penn State was in this thing. They finally kind of bringing their name back into college football, which I do like. However, I did watch some highlights of the Nebraska game, and the offensive line for Ohio State is struggling a little bit. I still think they're going to pull it off, so I've got Ohio State -3.5. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, though, so I got the under on 47.5 points.
It's good, Matt.
That?
That sounds good.
How you like that,
Josh? Your improvement is impressive. Yeah. Your bar was really low. But,
listen. Listen, you got, what did you say? Improvement every week. Every week we get better. Every week we get better.
Yeah, you've improved every pick.
Hey, y'all, you guys know this Mississippi State game film is the most dangerous game film to watch for the Hogs, right? Winning game film is the most you win the game, and they're chalking up with your boys, and you miss your lesson in your reps. But I digress. Josh, we'll get into that, baby. But I'm going to go Ohio State. You know, this is where people make a big deal about the SEC. And you can hate on the SEC all you want, but I'm just going to read you off Penn State's last 5 wins. Kent State, Illinois, UCLA, USC in overtime, and Wisconsin. Not a single ranked team. You know, Ohio State usually has them dudes. You have to tip of the cap to both teams. Great programs historically, but number 3, 7-0 Penn State. I don't know if I believe in that even more as Ohio State 6-1. So again, we're SEC cats. We don't watch a whole lot of Ohio State, Penn State games. I haven't watched one all year, but I am going to take Penn State. It's a tight spread, kind of like Texas A&M, South Carolina. It's at Penn, so there's your game changer. And just for fun, I'm going to go over because I don't know what their defenses are like. So let's play football.
All right, I'm going to go if this was a night game at Penn State, I'm taking Penn State. But the noon kickoff kind of has me messed up. I figured this would be their opportunity for the whiteout game. It's the big deal every year at Penn State. It's like their top where they got a top team coming in. But at noon, Ohio State's kind of been there, done that. They've kind of put themselves in that perennial top 5, top 10 conversation year in, year out. Tough loss at Oregon last week. But Oregon's the number 1 team in the country right now. Ohio State had every opportunity to win it. This week didn't look that great against Nebraska. I think they probably right the ship against Penn State. I agree with Matt. Pretty weak schedule for Penn State. I think they've won games because they haven't really played anyone, and they may run into a buzzsaw a little bit with Ohio State. So I'll take Ohio State minus 3.5, and I'll take the over because I think Ohio State probably wins this one running away. And they, once again, they're the same boat as everybody else. They've got to get some marquee wins on their schedule and really put their name out there as a top 12 team come playoff time.
It does say something that the higher ranked team is the underdog in this one, just because of the schedule. I mean, look at Penn State's schedule. How nice would it be not to be in the SEC and have a schedule like Penn State? They may have one loss, and I think this one loss probably keeps them out of the 12-team playoff. They don't play anybody. Yeah. And like you said, they really haven't had a dominating performance against these unranked teams. Like you said, Matt almost lost to USC earlier, 33-30. Yeah. But, yeah, I'll take Ohio State. And to Grant's point, I think minus 3.5. That's one, if you're looking at hopping on something, I feel good about that. Penn State averaging about a touchdown a quarter. Ohio State, maybe a touchdown and a field goal a quarter, so just a little bit edge there. Ohio State, in my opinion, has had a little bit tougher opponents, but still, overall, I mean, it's still not the SEC. How about that? So I'll go ahead and take Ohio State minus 3.5. Ooh, I think that over-under is set pretty solid. I just think, man, Penn State's got to be juiced up for this one, fellas. I mean, undefeated at home, even though it is a noon game. I think they make it competitive. It'll be tough, kind of getting that offense going and clicking because you're not going to hear anything if you're Ohio State. So that will play a factor in the game. Ooh, I think this is a crapshoot. I'll take the under. So I'll take Ohio State minus 3.5, and I'll go under. Hopefully it's a nice little good football game. All right, here we go. Let's get to the big one, boys. Ole Miss and them good old Razorbacks home game. It's a noon game. It's kickoff. The good thing about early games, Arkansas, we're used to them. We've had a lot of them in the years past, all right? So that ain't nothing new to us at all. Yeah, it's a noon kickoff at Razorback Stadium. Right, the line is set. Ole Miss is the favorite. They're sitting at minus 6.5. And the over-under, it looks like they think a lot of points are going to be scored, 54.5. Josh, by all means, what you got?
Look, I think it's a noon game because they got to expect a handful of overtimes. We always do this with Ole Miss. And so they went ahead
That's
and
why they scheduled it at
They
noon.
want to start this game early because we're not trying to be up till 2 or 3 a.m., okay? We got bedtimes. I got to get ready for church on Sunday. So, listen, we're starting at noon. I'm going to go with the over for 54.5 because I think we are going to score a lot of points. Coming off the Mississippi State game, Bobby Petrino seems to have it figured out. It is Mississippi State. But I think kind of historically what we see against Ole Miss is high-scoring games, and we know that Lane Kiffin can score a lot of points with this offense. I look back at some of the teams that they played. They put up 38 points against Texas A&M, so I expect them to come out firing. They also put up 38 points against Penn State, which we were just talking about, right? So these guys can score. We can score, and if Bobby has us in motion in the way that we do, that I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm expecting that overtime type of situation. Maybe it doesn't go into it, but I'm expecting a tight game nonetheless. So over on the 54.5, and I've got Arkansas because we're playing at Arkansas, and I'm not going to pick anybody but Arkansas to win this game at plus 6.5 points. So if I understand correctly, as long as we don't lose by 6.5 points, I'm making my money, right? Is that true, Grant?
7 points, yeah.
7 points.
I hadn't seen a half point scored yet.
It's just it's the fractions that get me every time. Okay, I got it.
Oh, it's fun being sponsored by Oaklawn.
Oaklawn's going to have all my money. They're like, Josh, come down to Hot Springs, please.
They're going to love you.
I don't want to steal Oaklawn thunder later in the week, but Josh, you win if we lose by less than a touchdown, or we win, you win. Okay, there you go. That's the easiest way to
Hey, look, hey fellas, I'll tell you this: if Josh is the best at picks this week, we got problems because he just said Ole Miss did good against Penn State. Unfortunately, they haven't played Penn State this year, so
hold on.
How they were able to pull that off? That's impressive. They played them last year in a bowl game, but they haven't played.
I was looking at the Peach Bowl. I was looking at the Peach Bowl. My bad.
But that's impressive. I don't know. So if you win this week, that'll be something.
And remember that game in my head, like, when did Ole Miss play?
Over here, like, that's a tough schedule. I'm over here like, that's a real tough schedule.
All right, Matt, who you got?
Man, Josh, I will say
the Peach Bowl, dude.
Peach Bowl. Your breakdown was actually pretty accurate. We do take Ole Miss to long games, overtime games. The spread shows it. It's going to be a tight game, high-scoring game. I do like our Hogs. I'm going to take the Hogs off the spread. Are we going to win the game? Man, I don't know. But y'all know, right? You beat teams the way you're supposed to beat them. We're jiving. We're playing very complimentary football. Ole Miss, they just beat OU. They took a big loss to LSU. They're a good team. I don't know if they're really 19 or not. Whoever shows up for Ole Miss, it could blow these bets out of the water. But our defense is playing well. Our offensive line, Grant, they just went to work. We looked like A&M versus LSU. We just could do whatever we wanted. So I like us on the spread, and I like us on the over too. I think it is going to be a high-scoring game. QB1's out there doing his thing. He looks healthy. If he can run the ball, that was a nightmare for defenses. 3rd and 3, 3rd and 7, and you got everybody in a coverage sack, and he scoots out to move the chains. You didn't admit it then, but it broke your back, man. So those kind of quarterbacks can really steal the air from good defenses like Ole Miss traditionally has too. But as far as the points and the spreads go, I'm going to go with the Hogs on the spread and on the over.
All right, man. So it's time for Arkansas to own the state of Mississippi again.
Ooh.
Yes.
I like
that. Take it
so
back.
we got one part done, right? Back-to-back weeks, we got Mississippi schools on the schedule. And so if you look back historically in Arkansas's best seasons, Mississippi State and Ole Miss were just locked-in wins, right? We knew we were going to go beat those schools. And you had to toss it up against those perennial big-time schools that were always ranked in the top 10. It's always a coin flip back in the day, right? So this is the kind of season where it makes or breaks you with these types of games, right? And I think if we think about it, I know Missouri's owned us last 10 years, but we have to be a school that beats the 3 M's, right? Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Missouri. And those are going to be our kind of like calendar, mark your calendar, got to win these types of things. So I think that this week we have that mindset coming in thinking, all right, we've got something rolling, right? Let's continue the momentum. Let's not let it fall flat right before a bye week, right? Let's carry it like we did in Tennessee through the bye week. Man, bye weeks are so much easier when you're coming off of a win. And this lines up great. Ole Miss get an opportunity to win this game, go to bye week. Now you go play Texas. They'll be ranked top 5, I'm sure, at that time, coming into Fayetteville. So I'm going to take the Hogs with the plus 6.5. I do think T will probably cook something up to get Lane Kiffin off his game a little bit. Maybe see something that we hadn't seen all year, similar to what we did to Tennessee. We're going to be dissecting the game film, finding out what other teams did well against Ole Miss and incorporating that into our defense. And really great offensive performance this week. You want to see that carry over. Hope the offense continues the momentum, continues the positive vibes there. Coach Petrino's got the things going now. And we'll see, I think. But, I think it's Hogs, and I think it's the over because we're going to have to score points to beat Ole Miss.
You better, Grant.
So hold on. I just want to wrap this up. Did Grant
stick to your fundamentals?
Did Grant just pick my exact pick? Is that what just happened?
Yeah, I think we both did, actually.
I mean, there's only so many options, Josh. You know what I mean?
Trailblazer, Josh.
That dang Peach Bowl, baby. That's what happened.
My gosh.
All right, listen,
all right, here we go.
I will say this. Hold on. I will say I'm sorry for being off my game. Granny's been in the hospital all week, guys. I've been slacking. So next week I will be more prepared. Okay. I'll be more prepared.
We got thoughts and prayers to Granny, man. I'll say that, but if I know Granny, she'd be like, Josh, get your ish together. You know what I mean? So there's no doubt about it. All right, here we go, fellas. I've already had a chance to really dig through the tape. I know y'all probably haven't as much as me yet because breakdowns coming up in here in just a second. Defensively, the first time all year I've seen our DBs just – I couldn't understand what's going on. Matt, you're going to have a field day with your breakdown.
I'm looking forward to this.
And so it was very unfortunate to see. And for some reason, as the offense is progressively getting a little bit better, our defense is heading in the opposite direction. And I think it's because they've put on enough tape for now coordinators to see what we're good at and what we're not so good at. I think LSU exploited that to the max, understanding, the struggles we had at DB. And so they took advantage of getting the ball out quick. Nussmeier was a great quarterback at doing just that. And then it was crazy. We tried to combat that against Mississippi State, dropping a defensive end underneath in the flat to try to help out the corners. And so I think we've put everything on tape now. And as much as we talk about Coach Petrino and he knows his offense, Lane Kiffin, he's right up there with him. I'll give him that. The dude is a genius when it comes to play calling. And so I think they will have the game plan. And then I go to that LSU game with Ole Miss. Ole Miss should have won that football game, I think, in my opinion, by 2 touchdowns. But they did disrupt the quarterback quite a bit here or there. I think the pressure that they got up front, LSU is going to be a little bit better than what Arkansas is going to be able to do just with the defensive line alone. And when it comes to getting pressure on Arkansas, we really saw that we struggle playing against really talented linebackers. I mean, look what the dude from LSU did. And Ole Miss has a guy named Chris Paul, who was our stud linebacker last year. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder. And dude's a hell of a football player. God, so much just needs to happen from last Saturday until this upcoming game. Do I think it's possible? Yes. Do I think it's a lot of X's and O's? No. Matt and Grant and Josh, when you're going to see in this breakdown coming up here in just a second, it's just the sheer wanting to smack someone in the face. I've never seen this defense pass up on contact so much. A lot of missed tackles. Yeah, it was awful. A lot of missed tackles. So you can't do that against Ole Miss because
that's what I mean. Winning this game film is really dangerous. They're going to have to freaking focus this week.
They're going to have to focus big time because it was awful. And in my opinion, Mississippi State could have put up at least 2 more touchdowns. Should have.
I was scared in the middle of the third quarter.
I get it. I get it. And so all that being said, a lot has to change. So I think it's possible Arkansas can knock this out 100%, but they got to show me. I'm taking Ole Miss minus 6.5, unfortunately. I have to take the over. I'll take the over, and I'm going to say that's more so because Ole Miss does have the ability to light up a scoreboard. I'll just leave it at that. Fellas, it was fun. I'll put up the graphic so everybody remembers who picked what. And this is the first time we've done this, so obviously a little bit longer than we expected, but it's fun. I think people are having a great time with this as well. Big shout out to Oaklawn for being a part of this. Fellas, thank you for your time here tonight. But everybody else, make sure you stay tuned, because right after this, we're going to do up a little graphic and all that stuff. And then I got my breakdown coming up, and I got my friend Sam from Gregg Orr Auto, who's the sponsor of our breakdown. And he had a really good aspect as far as approach to this too. And fellas, guess what? Everybody listening right now, if you're a subscriber, this is really cool with 4th and 5. You have the opportunity now to save up to $1,000 if you want to go buy a car. All you have to do is prove you're a subscriber to 4th and 5. We're doing big things, fellas. Doing big things. If you want more details on that, make sure you stick around. Fellas, thanks so much. Y'all have a good night. All right, here he is, the man himself with the 3.5-star breakdown from last week, back at it again with Sam. And Sam, before we get into your breakdown this week, I'm very excited for it. When you reached out to me and said now what Gregg Orr's going to do for 4th and 5 subscribers, I honestly couldn't believe it. Go ahead and share the good news with the folks.
Hey,
Yep.
DJ, yeah, so the response was so overwhelming last week. Got to talk to a couple of your former teammates, a couple of former classmates, and did a little bit of business, and it was good. It was great. But this being the last week of truck month, I mean, we're talking about savings anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 off of MSRP right now this next week. And when they're gone, they're gone. There's 3 ways that GM has determined you can save $500 additional dollars, and that's if you're a teacher, prior or current military service, or if you're a first responder or in the healthcare profession. Now, not everybody falls into one of those 3 buckets, so I have been authorized to offer a 4th and 5 exclusive, and that is if you come show me, ask for me, and you come show me that you are subscribed to this podcast, the 4th and 5 podcast, you're going to get $500 off.
Oh, nice. I mean, that's awesome. Look, a subscription could save you $500 of getting a new ride. And now also too, I want to make sure I heard all this right. That's if you don't fall into one of those categories, you can still come in and save $500. What if you do fall into one of those categories?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, on the other 3 categories, let's say you're a teacher now, but you have prior service, you can only take one or the other. And it only applies to new vehicles, that $500 rebate. But the 4th and 5 exclusive, it goes on top of that, and it also applies to used vehicles as well.
Oh, man. So if you're a teacher and you happen to be subscribed to 4th and 5, you can get in for a new vehicle and save $1,000.
That's exactly right. And all you have to do, DJ, is call me at 501-593-4486. Ask for Sam, 501-593-4486. I'm here 6 days a week, 7 to 7. So give me a call anytime and let me know you're a 4th and 5 subscriber and you're in.
Man, Sam, that's awesome, man. Appreciate that. You know, I'm glad you're already sponsoring the segment. Now you're helping out the people if they're going to be subscribers. That's awesome, man. Let's get into it. That's great news. I love it. So excited. And you know me, now we got to switch tunes. All right, we got to lock in now because we got a big game coming up, and there's a lot of things on tape that we need to brush up quick. I sent you a clip that's not going to be too good when we come to talking about it. Go ahead and let me know what your breakdown is.
Yeah, I don't think that Lane Kiffin didn't see this play, and because he has made his living off of this, and he has a quarterback. What you're going to see here is just that little dink and dunk game that was so successful with LSU. You see Mississippi State doing it here on a little bubble screen. But if you'll go ahead and start rolling it here, DJ, you're going to see that Booth starts to come into motion. And right off the bat, the first thing I noticed on this, and remember the consensus was from some of the fans last week that I need to keep my resume up to date on the job sites. So I'm just a armchair quarterback. But what I see here is when he goes into motion, nobody is trailing him on the defense. So we know we're going to be in zone. They know we're going to be in zone right off the bat. You'll see Sorey just shortly thereafter point to the left. But there's not a whole lot of communication. There's no shift. There's no communication between Johnson and the linebackers. And so what they've done is they've created essentially a 4-on-3 advantage on that side of the field. Now, not all hope's lost. Yes, they do have the advantage, but we have the sideline as an extra defender because they're going to go out wide here. But the problem is you see here Slaughter. He does a good job of fighting off his block, but the way that he spins out of that block, it forces Booth back to the inside, and it negates that sideline as that extra defender. When it's already 4-on-3, you need that sideline as that extra defender. And I don't know what effort that was to make that tackle. But at that point, Story kind of got left out in no man's land. And then when he went to take his angle, he took the wrong angle. He left late. He never got there. And what should have probably been maybe a first down at the very worst, maybe they get an extra yard, but it's going to be 1st and 10. But it was a good play set up against the correct defense. But I think the holes in the Swiss cheese just kind of lined up, and it turned into 6 points. That's my breakdown.
Hey, man, okay. I see you be doing your homework. All right. So you said it right. Lane Kiffin's watching this tape. And like I said, him and Jackson Dart, they're both licking their chops. All right, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Let's do your breakdown analysis. I like what you said about Slaughter with him kind of going inside first, and then he tried to get back outside to try to force everything back in. But you're right. You know, with the defense, especially towards the sideline, that sideline is an extra defender. Can't run out of bounds or the play is over. And so, yes, trying to push it to the sideline would be the ideal thing there. But still, him trying to get back outside and turn it up, he's probably thinking, I got so much help coming from inside. Surely they're going to get this play tackle. But the person that I'm going to really hone in on this one is our safety. And I can't really see if it says 16 or 18, but I believe this is TJ Metcalf right here. Sam, he should be screaming down 1,000 miles an hour and putting his face mask through this guy's sternum. And it was just, when you go back and watch the tape, him, one, taking a bad angle, going to where all of his guys are. He sees where this guy's running. It was so confusing to me, saying, why are you not inserting into the hole that you need to be and make this play? At the end of the day, you got to be able to come down and smack someone's head off, and that's going to be the tone set for the rest of the game. So, Sam, I'll tell you this. Time for your star rating. I'm going to go ahead and give you a 4 on this one, and that's close to a 5, and I'll never give 5s out.
Oh, man, 4 stars. You're going to give me 4 stars.
4 stars, man. You got 4 stars.
Man, I'll tell you what, I may not have to freshen that resume up anyway. I tell you what, DJ, though, I know you're the king of the breakdown, man. I just need to keep selling cards. Let me just keep doing that. But I'll take the 4 stars this week.
You keep selling cards, and you keep giving people $500 off if they subscribe to 4th and 5 on these new vehicles. Then I think you and me we both got it figured out when it comes to that. All right.
All right, man. I like it.
All right, now that Sam did his breakdown, let me go ahead and let you know what the schedule is for the breakdown coming up. So we're going to start with the DBs, and I'm telling you it's going to be some tough film to watch. I'm going to say some things that may hurt some people's feelings, but hopefully they respond to it in the right way and bring the tone against Ole Miss. That's what it's going to be all about. So we're going to talk about the DBs, and we're going to talk about Landon Jackson. Thought he had a great game. I'm going to show you a few clips of what he needs to continue to do, him and the rest of the D-line, to really give us a shot against Ole Miss. We're going to talk about the tight ends. Y'all been asking me where they've been. Well, they showed up 4 touchdowns. I'm going to tell you the good and bad from the tight end group. I'm always finding something to critique. We'll talk about that. Also, we're going to talk about the running game. It was really good to see that get going. We're going to talk about missed assignments, especially when it comes to lining up these pre-snap penalties. They're going to come back and haunt us when we play against a team who kind of matches us talent for talent. We can't afford that. Also, finally, Coach P turning it up a notch, being more aggressive in the play calling and making sure we put points on the board. And got to show love to Taylon Green. Very impressive what he put on tape. So that's going to be our lineup, and we're going to go ahead and pick up where we left off with Sam's play right here, starting with the DBs. And I'm just going to keep on running this because I'm hoping the guys see it and really respond to some bad things that they put on tape this week before we play against Ole Miss. Once again, just a missed opportunity to come downhill and knock this guy, I wouldn't say out, put a lick on him at least. That's just too easy. Once again, wide view, you can see. I'll say this too. After the game, I was on the sideline, as players were walking in, and a couple of the guys, they noticed me, and they looked at me like, this dude looks familiar. I'm getting older. But they don't know me as the former Razorback. Now they know me as that dude from 4th and 5. And so I know they're watching. And the cool thing about it is it seems like they're very receptive of the things that we talk about here on this channel. The theme that I heard from a couple of the players were, hey, man, you keep it real. And that's what we're going to do. And I really do appreciate that these guys watch the tape and they see the things that I'm kind of calling out. And if y'all are watching this go around, especially DBs, the reason I'm going to be so on to y'all this week, because y'all have the opportunity to make or break this game against Ole Miss. What we put on tape this past week, Ole Miss is going to watch it, and this is what their coaches are going to tell them. Hey, when you get the ball, don't worry too much about holding on for dear life because they're going to come down the hill and try to knock you out. They're saying, hey, run through these blocks. Keep going because these guys are going to miss these tackles. I don't think they have any indication that they need to, I guess, have their head on a swivel when playing against our DBs just based off what we put on tape the past 2 weeks. Now, the thing is, I know DBs, y'all are way more than capable of coming up here and smacking somebody in the face. All right, so what is it going to take to really affect these receivers from Ole Miss? It's going to be the physicality. They got a receiver, number one receiver here in the country, and I need him at halftime to make a business decision. I want that receiver from Ole Miss who's been lighting up the stat sheet to really contemplate, I don't know if I really want to go back up there and play the second half against these dudes from Arkansas because I'm trying to make it to the NFL, and these dudes are flying around. I get it. I don't want us to be cheap. I don't want us to be dirty, but I'm telling you, if you have an opportunity to maybe get a pass breakup or maybe do this or an opportunity to put a hit on somebody again, and again, I'm telling you, receivers aren't built to withstand that. And this group from Ole Miss, they really haven't had a lot of that this year, and it will show up later in the game. This is going to be a dogfight against Ole Miss, and it's going to come down to fourth quarter, and it's going to see who's had enough and who just wants some more. I do believe our DBs have that mentality, especially with Coach Williams, but these past 2 weeks, what we've put on film, it ain't it. All right, so guys, let's tighten up. As Matt Harris and Coach Nutt would say, this is a 2 chin strap game. There doesn't need to be one player from Ole Miss with one chin strap off or their mouthpiece hanging. They need to come to the line of scrimmage like, hey, these dudes from Arkansas ain't playing around. And I think that's the tone that needs to be set. And I'm telling you, DBs, if y'all get that tone going, it's going to impact the game. And y'all want to do something special in Fayetteville, it's going to start with y'all. All right, so let's go ahead and get more into the tape. As we kind of get rolling. Let's move past these plays and learn from them. Another one right here. We talked about this time and time again. Lane integrity. Run this back just a little bit. You're going to see this linebacker jump outside. And, there's really no reason. You have to understand where your run support's coming from. Just too indecisive of making this play right here. And you see the linebacker, as soon as he goes outside, number 30, I believe that is Worth. You don't need to stack him and go exactly where he's going. 2 guys taking up the same lane responsibility or lane integrity. Y'all need to play off of each other. And the thing is, y'all put this on tape a little too much. And I know y'all need to just understand if my guy's going to go right, I go left. I got you. And just imagine, Worth, if you're coming downhill 1,000 miles an hour, you're putting a lick on this dude well before that first down marker. Things to learn from. Another play right here, you can see. All right, 13. We got to talk, man. All right. I get as we press play right here. Look, I'm going to pause. You see my girl on the sideline. Let me run this back real quick. You get the pass interference call. And take a look right here on the sideline. You see her? She's like, what are you talking about? All right, what are we celebrating for? This is a panic penalty. Get beat at the line of scrimmage. It happens to DBs. I'm actually okay with you doing what you need to do to get back, and if you have to get a PI, it's better than a touchdown. But I still don't think you understand how talented you are at recovery and being in good position to make a play. All you have to do is get your head around in that situation, all right? Get your head around, make a play at the ball. But I'm just trying to figure out, why are we so quick to getting up and then celebrating again when you know damn well that was a PI, all right? That right there on tape, it looks like you're a U player and not a team player. It's like, look at me. I know that's not the case, all right? But let's tone it back. I love the swag. I love the confidence. But like I said last week, let's save all this for the plays that matter and put on tape. This was just a little bit lack of awareness and just a bad look on tape. you can see your players and teammates and coach, everybody's like, dog, come on now. That's hurting the team. You're going to see another angle right here. Once again, you are in perfect position to make a play on this. Trust the technique, trust yourself. You've been a player all season long that's been able to make this play. Just get your head around. Too quick to the celebration, my guy. All right. Let's get to the next play. You can see right here, this is a 1st and 10. Lining up. This happened way too much. You can see before the snap, it was your run back a little bit. Everybody just seems a little confused. You got Worth over here signaling to the safety, get over here. And I get this was probably a new look y'all haven't seen yet or repped yet, but it's going to show up a little bit later in the game. But one thing we have repped is being able to get in there and make a play. Let's run that back real quick. Once again, 18, Metcalf. Right here, you should be going 1,000 miles an hour, blowing this dude up, understanding where your help is coming from. You got the sideline. He can't run out of bounds. And if he does cut back inside, you got your whole crew pursuing the ball. That's just a tough one, man. Get in there, make a play. Now, like I said, we're going to look at it again. Look at the communication pre-snap. I guess this is something we have to figure out in practice, but just the miscommunication, the guy's about to go in motion. We don't know who's going with them. You know me, you me. Now, luckily, our defensive line bailed us out, but if you look at top, that's open. If he throws that slant route, he may even go in for a touchdown. Then it's 14-24 and only a 10-point game. Just miscommunication on the defensive side of the ball. But like I said, we got enough pressure up front, which was helpful. And then once again, the tackling is another thing. As we get right about here, let me get another angle. 13. This is another opportunity to make another statement. I don't know why you are trying to catch this guy on this tackle. You should be trying to take his head off. You have to be physical right here. It's almost like you're waiting to catch it. It's coming to you. I get he put on a little juke move, but it should not matter. You should be going 1,000 miles an hour every single play, making something happen. And this is the thing. I understand in today's game with the defense the way it is, I get why DBs, linebackers, everybody's a little bit hesitant and you have to think a little bit more. You don't want to do helmet to helmet. You don't want to do all that. If it's not cheap and it's not dirty and you're just trying to make a football play and you're going 1,000 miles an hour, we can live with it. All right. The thing about our DBs, we got a whole room. All right. Y'all need to have each other's back. If you got one of your guys going 1,000 miles an hour, and let's just say you come in here and they call helmet to helmet on this, and, because these referees are just trigger happy when it comes to throwing penalties. I'll show something about that here in just a second. But it's fine. Next man up. I mean, y'all got a full clip on that defensive side of the ball. Next man up, plenty of bullets to keep flying around, and just set that tone. Now, like I said, other teams need to know when they come playing Arkansas in their secondary, these dudes are different. You better catch and tuck quick because these dudes are flying 1,000 miles an hour. Right now, these receivers like, hey, let's catch. Let me see what I can do after the catch. Put something on tape right here, 13. Let them know. That just ain't it. Come on, man. We're better than that. Let's get to this 3rd and 9, tackling in the open field yet again. I know these conversations are happening in practice. Right here, TJ, you've been able to make this play in your sleep. Poor angle. You're better than this. You have to use the sideline, angle tackling. And this is DBs and linebackers and defense. I get we're going into week 8. I'm telling you right now, or week 9, if you don't want to have a day in practice where the coaches say, okay, it seems like y'all forgotten how to tackle. Let's put the pads on. We're going to have 2 or 3 periods dedicated just to tackling, and y'all's bodies beat up and banged up. How you avoid that is making sure you show up on game day and pop these pads and make sure you stay true to your technique. TJ, you got to make this play on the sideline. Unacceptable, and I know you believe that as well. And I hate to just keep on rolling the tape, but it just keeps popping up. Another one right here in the hole. Number 14, this tight end that's about to come up in the hole and try to block you right here. I take that back. Is that a receiver? Come on, man. What are we doing? Let me run that back. 14, when a receiver comes up into the hole and lead blocks, I think that's a receiver. It may be a tight end. It doesn't matter. Let me get right here. You pause right there. No. You should be coming 1,000 miles an hour downhill, meeting him at the line of scrimmage, and then the next time they call this play and his number's up, he needs to at least be thinking, I really don't want to have to go in there and do that again. All right. Football, it's 4 quarters. It's plays like this that make this guy feel like, oh, that dude's soft. 14 right now, that looks soft. I know you're not soft, but you put on tape now that you're soft. Now you got these guys believing that they can just run up in the hole and block you. You need to blow this up. If you blow this up, it muddies all that up, and this running back doesn't have a clear shot of getting out of here. That's not the way you play that. You got to meet him in the hole. All right, let's get to another one. This is 2nd and 5. And, yeah, once again, and sorry, you've been playing great all year. What are we doing right here? Why are you tucked in right here behind Cam Ball? Cam Ball, while we 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, and we'll kind of get past this. But, sorry, you should understand your lane integrity right here. This is a little bit like the the Tennessee game. You kind of got caught inside. That's when Tennessee had that big rush right up the gut. It was they ended up scoring. No, that was LSU. This was just last week. They ended up scoring on like a 2nd and 20 or a 3rd and 20. Same thing right here. Getting too not very disciplined with your lane integrity. Too far inside. Guy comes out. So we got to learn from our mistakes. That's another thing. We can't keep putting the same mistakes on tape, all right? You have to get in that film room, learn from this. That play developed slow enough for you to understand all that front side's taken care of. Just be disciplined back here. I know you want to get on the tackle. Stay in your lane integrity, so if it does bounce back, you're there to make this play. They gave up a touchdown against LSU and gave up a big pickup right here when the game – it's just a 10-point game and Mississippi State's going downfield. All right, let's pick up here in a 3rd and 7. And once again, got to make that play right there, Sorry. Got to make that play. That's just about having a better angle to the ball. We're much better than that, But I also want to point out, too, the miscommunication up top. You see this guy coming in motion. We got a guy blitzing on the edge. Hudson Clark takes the guy in motion, assuming he has him in man. And is that TJ Metcalf? Can't have these breakdowns, especially on 3rd down. It seems like there's miscommunication on who has who. Look at the guy up front going into the flat. If he wanted to, he could get the ball out there too. So this dude had 2 options right now. You have to be brushed up on at least your responsibility. Things like this can't happen against Ole Miss. I'm telling you, Jackson Dart will see all this and pick the defense apart. Thing is, the plays are called. Everything is right. Technique and just understanding your assignment, that allows you to get to things a lot quicker. And it's going to make all the difference in the world against Ole Miss. Can't have that miscommunication up top. All right, let's keep it rolling. 1st and 10. Another situation. TJ, man. And I know you're a ball player. You can't have this. Can't have this at all. You see he needs to be a little bit more situational awareness right here. Corner goes inside. I would love for my corner to really push against that and not let this receiver just wash you down. That's exactly what they want, is for this guy to get out on the edge. But, TJ, you got to see this. You know you can't come inside right here. You got plenty of help on the inside, as you can see right there. You have to use the sideline to your advantage. You know where he's going to go. This angle is just a bad angle. Like I said, it's plays like this on tape that are going to make the coaches put the pads back on and make you pop week 9 into the season to make sure you remember how to tackle. Another one right here, just poor assignment. I believe this is supposed to be the backers guy. I am not too sure. I'm going to have to leave this one up to Matt Harris. I'm not sure about the breakdown and miscommunication here. But I guess a good play design right here. You see this guard pull. That's usually an indicator for a run. I think that backer saw it, made him kind of come up a little bit. That's a good play, action play. And in my opinion, this is good to learn from. All right. So there's sometimes good plays are just drawn up. It's showing run across the board, made you kind of put your hand in the cookie jar, a bit up a little bit, and they snuck in that tight end right behind you. And then this is the 2-point conversion. I won't even kind of get too much into that. Guys running across the field wide open, unacceptable. I know that's a lot to get to. Like I said, we're just getting into this breakdown and still so much to talk about. But DBs, I'm going to put a big emphasis on y'all, because even though we had a big-time game, great turnovers all over the place, you have to look past all that. You still have to learn, even in victory, things that could have made things much better. These things I'm pointing out right here, if they're not fixed, Ole Miss will win that football game. I tell you that. Good thing is they're all fixable, and I really do believe our DBs can step up and make this happen. Got to set the tone. And you know what's going to help? Up front. D-line, I got to give you a shout-out. You did your thing. Landon Jackson up top, you're getting better each and every week. I've been on you all season long, and you're starting to get better, starting to get into your groove. Great pass rush move. Look and see what he does with his hands right now. Comes off the ball. Great job with his hands. Boom. Dips. Gets flat. Strip sack. That's how it's drawn up. And look at this one right here. Landon Jackson on the right side. So the thing is, you're in a 3-down front. Why are we so good about stopping the run? Look at Landon right here. Great job with his hips. He has the leverage fully extended. Eyes on the ball. Swims at the last minute. Makes a play. That's big time, Landon. You keep that up. Then I'll start getting on board with all this hype that you had. It's just been a minute since we've seen it on tape, but you're really starting to pick things up as the season go on. So keep that ball rolling, my guy. And that's fun to see here on tape. All right, let's go ahead and get into folks we haven't seen here in a while. The tight end room. Look at this. A little sneak play. I remember this one from back in the day. You're going to see Luke has right here. Great play design. You have the running back clearing things out. You got receiver up top clearing it up. You see Luke right here blocking, hold that block, and then slip on behind them. Great play design. You know, they definitely made it an emphasis for the tight ends to be a vocal point of this game, just simply based off play design. And the cool thing that I like about this, right after that, you're going to see Luke get right back up on the ball. He's to the right side of the line of scrimmage. This is a play. I won't say the play out loud. I remember what it is because I just don't want Ole Miss to be watching this and know all of our plays. But there was a call made, and now Luke's going to block down, and these guys are going to pull around. But just a great seal block by Luke right there. Look at this. Fighting, holding. That's big time. Allows the lineman to get out and see the big running lane for Braylon Russell, who does his part. Had a great day rushing the ball. Very proud of him and everything he accomplished that week. Hopefully SEC Freshman of the Week. That'd be cool. Let's get down to the red zone. Another play right here. Big 8-1 back into things. Dre doing his thing. And once again, so the thing that I'm seeing here with the tight ends being a big emphasis, and then the Cowboy go get it pass. No, it's reminiscent. So this is where I'm going to get on to you. Very excited, very happy to see a big day when the tight ends are doing big. I almost forgot. I said 4 touchdowns. Let's go ahead and show them all. You can see Dre sneaking out the backfield right here. All right, so those are drawn up. That's when it's easy, okay? People have been asking all year, where are the tight ends? So there's been plenty of opportunities drawn up for our tight ends. Those right there, guys, if you're watching, we'll take them all day. But I would prefer the coach not to have to draw up all these sneak plays and all these things just to get us the ball. It's these plays right here that I'm going to show you really show up on tape, in my opinion, if you want to be an elite tight end. 3rd and 7. As you're going to see right here, Luke's to the right side of the line of scrimmage. Just based off the alignment itself, you know it's man-to-man coverage. The guy guarding you is literally right over you. Luke, you can't let this guy get his hands on you right here. This is a play. Look at the secondary. If you beat your guy, you're wide open. And now I don't even know if Talon looks that way, but I promise you this. If you put on tape that you can get hands off of this guy, Talon's going to start looking your way a lot more. It doesn't have to be all these intricate little play designs to get you the ball. It'll be moments like this that you have to put on tape for people to believe that this guy I can trust to be open. Because I've talked to you about this too, Luke. Even throughout the year, there's been enough times on tape where we're struggling creating space. It seems like we're just running right into guys, and it's not allowing us to be open, and it's throwing the timing off. Quarterback gets off of you, get to someone else. That as we play right here, man-to-man coverage, you just can't run into him. That's exactly what he wants. That's going to make his day easier. Now, I know you may say right here, a quarterback, when he sees that guy latch to a tight end like that, he's not thinking he's open. He's going to move on to the next one. And that's what I would see looking at tape. Have to do a lot better at the line of scrimmage, and you just can't run into this guy. This is where we need to be athletes. Got to get a little wiggle right here. Use your hands, maybe a little jolt, and then use your hands. But just running your body into them, a quarterback's just not going to feel confident throwing right there. And the reason I emphasize this play so much, Luke, This is our money down. 3rd and 7 in the red zone, and it's man-to-man with the tight end. I'm like, you got to throw me the ball. There's no way I'm going to let this guy hold me right here. That's the mentality we need in that room moving forward. They got to get open right there. All right, Talon scrambles out, gets to the next play. This next one I'm going to show up to, or I'm going to show right here. Dre, you can see on the left side of the line of scrimmage, every block matters. Now, I know it's a little rusty getting back into the groove of things, but you can see right here, getting up to the second level, got to have that block. Just look and see what happens. Braylon does a great job sifting his way through. Look at this by Braylon, first of all. It's a little messy up there. Watch, he puts his foot in the ground, sneaks out in front of this guy, very patient runner, has his eyes down the field. Dre, if you get that block right there, you're going to put Braylon in a one-on-one situation with the safety, and that's exactly what you want. Give him the opportunity to make one miss, but that ain't it right there. Let me look back one more time. If we're being honest, that's bad. That's bad on tape. Got to do better. And like I said, you can have 4 touchdowns tied in room all we want. You know us, we can always do better. Had an opportunity to get more yards right here on this. And like I said, it shows up on tape. Another one right here. All right, so first of all, you got Jordan Anthony just going back and forth. See that guy trying to follow him. And you got my guy, let's see, Talon doing his thing. This amazing 4th and 2 where he scrambles, ends up getting the first, throwing to Braylon. Braylon doing a great job uncovering and making sure he was an option in the pass game. Great job, nobody getting a penalty. Thing is, if you go back, once again, this play is for the tight ends right here, okay? I know Jordan Anthony's doing all this crazy stuff. I think that's misdirection. But you're going to see Luke, he's going to be running a fade route. Once again, just letting this guy get his hands on him. Luke got to do a better job. But then Dre on the front side of this play, I think he's supposed to block, then release, and slip out the back. And I say that because you're going to see right here where Talon looks. You see where he's looking? He's like, where's Dre? Where's Dre? I don't see Dre. But if you go back just a little bit, Dre gets held up by number 44, and then Luke gets held up by number 11, I believe. Guys, we got to do better creating space and being an option when our number is called. This is 4th and 2. Got to have it. Got to have it. Still a great day. Love seeing my tight ends in the end zone. Obviously, I'm being very critical because I love the position, love the guys, got a great relationship with the guys. But I will always say there's still room for improvement, and that's how we're going to continue to get the balls. Let's keep it a stack, y'all. Mississippi State was not good by any means, especially on defense. This was a great opportunity for us to kind of get our feet wet a little bit. But against Ole Miss, it's going to be a different ball game. Can't afford plays like this. Great job by Talon, obviously, on that one. All right, let's go ahead and let me get to Talon. All right, we're going to talk about this running game. Talon, it was impressive watching you run that ball when you had to. Right here, look at this. Eyes downfield, nothing open, and then you decide to get out of the pocket. It wasn't run first and pass if I feel like it. Great job being poised in the pocket. It was very fun seeing you use your legs when you had to and not that you needed to all the time. Great play right here. This is what's cool with Dubinion. We got to get Dubinion's confidence back, especially holding on to that ball. But his ability to press the line of scrimmage and then cut back. A lot like Jaquindon does, but I think Dubinion is just a little bit quicker. Obviously, Jaquindon, an amazing back, but if he's hurt and dealing with injuries, we need a guy that can come in and be just as explosive. Look at this. Push the line of scrimmage, put foot in the ground, cuts back. That's awesome vision as a running back. Gotta love it, especially when the front side blocks don't pan out. Another one right here. Talon, great job with the read option. We struggled a little bit against LSU, not this time around. And then you have Dre, tight end, coming around. Great block downfield. See, good blocks, bad blocks. I'm going to call them all out. That's the way you get things rolling. And I'll just let this one play out itself. Braylon, bro, this right here, I was like, right about here, I was like, I don't know if he's going to make it. I don't know. You can see it right there. He's like, little cramp, they say. It's cool. I've been there before. That looked like me. That looked like me in summer camp. About 120 play scrimmage. That's about the last one, and you run all the way down, and you think practice is over. Coach blows the whistle, back on the ball. Oh, man, I get it, man. Braylon, I was just giving you a hard time. It was special watching you play, man. Love what you put on tape. That was fun. All right, let's get on some things that we can't have. First of all, before we move on, big shout out to the Carmona's family. Look, the Carmonas in the house. I met them before the game. Top-notch people. Fans of the week. They got their son's face right there. Like I said, I got a chance to meet them right before we walked in. They watched 4th and 5, so if y'all are watching this, love y'all, appreciate the support, and it was fun meeting y'all in person. All right, here we go. Let's get to mistakes. We can't have this. All right, so obviously this play didn't go too well. I'll say this to start off with. I'm not a big fan of this play concept, all right? You're going to see, once again, Dre blocking down on the DN. Great job. You're going to have Carmona kick out. I don't like the toss right here. I think this should be a handoff to allow this angle to be a lot faster and come downhill a lot quicker. The toss really makes this block difficult for Carmona. So I'm not the biggest fan of this play design. Okay, so all right, we'll move on from that. But even more of a thing, got to get lined up. Look at the snap of the ball. You see the tight end on the line of scrimmage? When the tight end's on the line of scrimmage, the receiver outside of him, what is he supposed to do? He's supposed to be off the ball. Everybody knows, learned that in like middle school almost. You can see right here, Jordan Anthony lined up on the ball. So he covers up this tight end. And so when it comes to not giving your hand away for run or pass, if anyone had a pass responsibility with the tight end, if they see that, oh, this guy can't go out for a route, because if he does, it's a penalty, they should just be shooting the gap, understanding run is coming. And if it's not, it's okay because this guy can't go out for a route anyway. So once again, just simple things about being lined up correctly. And it's going to pop up again. You're going to see Jordan Anthony, this very next play. You're going to see him at the top of the screen. See him right there moving before the snap. Ended up being a penalty, just not knowing where to line up. Once again, a false start, putting your team behind the 8 ball. And then, obviously, the biggest one was during this 2-minute drive trying to score before half. You have Broden up top, makes an incredible play, but he's just off the line of scrimmage. Like I said, you're the only receiver over there. There's no reason why you should be off the line of scrimmage. That should just come as instinct, and you don't even have to think about it, but unfortunately we do. And this is an interesting one right here. Touchdown to tight end Luke Has. All right, love it. All right, but let's go back. I don't even know if anyone noticed this during the game. I did, and I couldn't wait to get here to figure this out because I got to ask my guy, Isaiah Satania, I love you. Well, what are you doing here, my guy? Why are you blocking a guy 5 yards down the field? I don't know if you knew this was a pass play. I think you think this was a run because if you engage this receiver, that's an illegal man blocking downfield. What are you doing right there? What's going on, Isaiah? Why are you trying to block this guy? If that's a play design, that's something I ain't never seen before. Isaiah, like I said, I'm going to shoot you a DM. Please respond to me on this one. And if you we got away with one because it is what it is. We'll take the touchdown all day long. All right, this is what I liked. All right, seeing Coach P come back. Now, after this guy made the bonehead play of the day, threw the ball up in the air, throwing a fit, getting a penalty, the very next play after that, as we kind of speed this up, you're going to see, they run this play. Then about at a 2:06, you're going to see Arkansas take a timeout. I love it. What I have seen so far this year is you see the graphic, you see Arkansas timeout. I guess I missed it. Oklahoma State game and a couple other games. It just seemed like Arkansas was so quick to get to the locker room when there's still time on the board. When I'm so used to Coach Petrino often saying, let's go score. I don't care if there's 10 seconds on the clock. We're going to go score. They called timeout. I was just like, okay. And then they put together an awesome drive. I mean, first of all, Isaac Tesla, let me run this back. Look at this route. Route him up, Isaac. Ooh, look at this. Bop, bop. That is beautiful. A beautiful route. Great angle. Tailin, great ball. Another one, too, right here by Isaac. As I pause right here. All right, he made an inside move, okay? This is where receivers get in trouble. As soon as they beat this guy inside, they don't get vertical again. They just keep drifting to the inside. Isaac does a great job getting vertical first before making his cut, which opens up that window even more. Great route by him. Great throw by Talon. That's just some big time stuff. And then another one right here. I really love this from Talon, doing a great job with recognition. You can see it just seems like an easy pass right here to Debinion out of the backfield. But I do believe this play was supposed to go to Luke once again. I think they're running it back as far as that sneak play from Luke. But you see Luke kind of getting held up right here, and then he sneaks out. But Talon recognizes Debinion's open. Let me get the ball out quick. Great play recognition by him. And, man, I tell you, it's fun watching this guy develop. A great throw to Andrew Armstrong. But if you go back to week 1, here goes that same concept of what we just saw with Armstrong. You're going to see Broden blows off the top of the offense. This is a UAPB game. Let me go back to the Mississippi State game. You're going to see Broden on the outside. Let me get back there. All right. Broden's going to blow the top off, and he's going to open up this window for Armstrong to come underneath. All right. So week 1, from week 1 to now, I think Talon's getting to the spot because you can see right there that crossing route's wide open. Just take what the defense gives you. If they give you that crossing route, just take it and keep that ball moving. So that was very cool to see the progression of him getting the ball to the right spot where it needed to be. And you talk about progression. Let's go back to that LSU game. First drive. We showed this in the breakdown. Underthrown ball to Jordan Anthony. It's about watching the tape, and when the opportunity presents itself again, make the damn throw. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, this right here. Woo, Talon. This right here, this throw, y'all. Woo! Talon, that's special. That's a special throw. And I love that the week before, you were in the kind of the same situation. You underthrew it. Confidence on this one. Let's just get in here and let this thing rip. Talon, you got it in your bag, man. You keep that up, man. There's no telling what this offense can do. And I'll tell you what I like even more about the throw, the eyes. We've talked about the eyes, your progression from week 1 to now. Now, this is the little bit wider angle. Cool, we see it. But the most impressive thing is the eyes. You can see as soon as the ball is snapped, eyes are at the safety first. Great job. Great job. That holds the safety just a little bit and enough to snap your eyes and then get the ball out. All that look changed everything. It holds that safety a split second. And in this league, a split second is the difference between a touchdown catch and a pass breakup. So that's very special to see. I know it was a little bit lengthier breakdown, but, man, that was a lot to get to. A lot of things on tape that we can fix. A lot of great things that I saw for us moving forward. But I just have to go back to the DBs. If we want a shot against Ole Miss, it starts with y'all. All right? It really does. D-line, I like the progression we've been getting. It's going to be a different ball game against Ole Miss. I think we all know Mississippi State, a bad football team, 1-7. And all that talk about they're on their way up. We ain't trying to hear all that. That was a bad football team, and we did exactly what we needed to do to win that game, still with a lot left out on the field. We can't leave anything against this Ole Miss thing. And I'll tell you this, guys, if y'all really do watch this channel, I want to, I go back to Darren McFadden. When we went to go play LSU, Coach Nutt, that team meeting, he just said, he gave everybody a wooden bat, said, it's going to be one of those games. You got to bring the wood. You got to lay the wood. Every single play, they need to know they got to strap up that chin strap, all right? So I'm going to go somewhere, get online. I'm going to start buying these little bats, all right? And I'm going to be watching the game. DBs, linebackers, defensive, offense, whoever's out there, and y'all lay the wood to set the tone. I'm sending you an engraved 4th and 5 bat. I'm going to put who you laid the wood to in the day of the game and the minute that it happened, because, hey, it'll change everything. And hopefully I'm giving out a lot of bats. So hopefully I need to figure out how to get them to y'all and just send them to the team. Hopefully they'll be waiting in your locker the following week. So let's go get this game, y'all. Appreciate everybody watching 4th and 5.